All right, well, I'll call to order this evening session of Nelson County Board of Supervisors, and we will start with public comments. We have no one signed up. Did anybody want to speak this evening? All right, moving on from public comments to the 2042 Comprehensive Plan, R 2024-31. Candy or Dylan?
Well, before I turn it over to Dylan, I just wanted to say a few words. Thank Dylan and her staff for the excellent work that's been done over the past 2 years on this plan. Also thank the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors for your hard work on this as well, and also the public who was very engaged throughout the entire process. So really appreciate all of their hard work on this. So,
Absolutely.
turn it over to Dylan.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, appreciate that. It has definitely been a process. All right,
What month are we on?
of working
This.
on the comprehensive plan?
It's gotta be 23 or 4.
May will be 24 months, 2 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, just a small summary. We started with a good long tour with the consultants, took them all around the county. We had a community survey that got over 900 responses, stakeholder groups, focus groups, work sessions, all kinds of engagement. So we're really pleased with the level of turnout we had for that. All right, the Planning Commission held their public hearing on January 31st. And at their regular meeting on February 28th, they recommended approval 6-0 with several amendments. The Board of Supervisors held a public hearing on March 20th, and you are to review Planning Commission's recommendations along with comments received at the public hearings this evening. And a summary of recommendations is provided on your memo as well as up on the board. First, Planning Commission recommendations as presented by the Berkeley Group, which are policy related. 1, removing Montebello from the rural destination land use category, so it will be treated as a conservation and rural area. That would be deleted from the future land use map, and the description on page 41 would be deleted. Number 2, adding a strategy to the land use chapter, discourage the use of large-scale development in Montebello through zoning. Other Planning Commission recommendations, which are editorial in nature, check the boxes for steep slopes and floodplains for Montebello as development constraints. Page 149 and local assets, add Priest and Three Ridges wilderness areas and access to primitive recreation. Page 67, indicating that the railway runs through the county but doesn't currently serve its residents. Page 90, housing quality and maintenance. Remove the quote that 39% of homes are considered vacant. This is relatively high compared to the statewide vacancy rate of 11%. Page 171, Tuckahoe Clubhouse serves as community center for wintergreen. Page 172, Centerra does not offer dermatology. Number 9, for the glossary, definition for easement should be for conservation easement. Number 10, add a definition for by right to the glossary.
Oh, we had trouble with that earlier. Might need new batteries.
No worries. Additional comments or additional recommendations following the public hearings. Number 11, page 44 under core concept, proposed revision would be to prioritize protection of rural landscape, moderate small-scale village-style mixed-use development, restoration and connectivity, efficient and effective provision of community services, and improved quality of life. Note that there are definitions in the glossary for small-scale commercial development, small-scale multifamily residential development, mixed use, and traditional neighborhood development, which includes village style. Page 218, the glossary for small-scale multifamily residential, adding view shed as a review factor for small-scale multifamily residential. Proposed definition for by right, a use permitted or allowed in the district involved without review by the governing body and complies with the provisions of these zoning regulations and all other applicable local, state, and federal ordinances and regulations. And finally, on pages 73 through 75, the table and the map for recommended priority transportation projects. We're recommending you add 3 additional projects to that list, including the proposed roundabout at Route 151 and Tambark Drive, turn lane improvements at Route 151 and Rockfish School Lane, and turn lane improvements at Route 151 and Mill Lane. These projects were identified in the recently released Route 151 corridor study, and they are slated for this round of smart scale applications. I believe that was presented to you earlier this year. So because the Route 151 corridor study was recently released, all of that has not been incorporated into the comprehensive plan. So these are the 3 that we would ask you go ahead and approve tonight.
One thing on the first page of recommendations on number 7, I'm sure it's just an oversight, but the wintergreen, that "the" needs to be taken out as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board?
Just kind of looking, jump to 13, proposed definition for by right. And I'm not sure how this will work, because obviously we have a lot of, how non-conforming, and, because we're gonna redo zoning, correct? So whatever individuals, after we do rezoning, that won't be by right, but they would be, the term that's often coined is grandfathered in because it was by right at that time. Do we need to quantify that at all, or is that more of a zoning ordinance?
No, that doesn't affect any grandfathering status. It's simply attaching a definition with the concept.
Okay.
And we looked up probably 8 to 10 different localities in the area, and I think only 2 had definitions for by right.
Right.
It was almost exactly this word for word,
Okay.
and we pulled this from the Planner's Dictionary, which is used by the American Planning Association.
Okay. That's all I have.
Mr. Harvey? Any-
Not yet.
Dr. Logan? Mr. Reed?
Only that I want to reiterate what Candy said. Without the comments we received from the public, this wouldn't have been as good as it is without the work, your department did, you and Emily and everybody else. We kind of figured it was going to take 2 years, and we're getting in ahead of the curve. So
We haven't voted on it yet.
I was gonna say.
Ernie, let's vote on it.
Yeah.
I'm
Make our
sorry.
speeches.
I'm sorry.
I did want to make sure you noted the difference between the core concept on page 44 and if that was a better fit what we had proposed, based on the feedback we received. Number 11.
Yeah, yes. Traditional. Okay,
Yep.
what did you need to know from us on that?
Just making sure we approve.
Yeah.
Yes, it just changed from
Oh,
prioritize, this is what's in the current draft, prioritize protection of rural landscape and moderate small village residential and commercial development. Staff thought moderate small scale village style mixed use development was a little more clear.
that's nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
yep.
Okay.
All right, so we are looking for a motion to approve Resolution R 2024-31, or
Yeah, as amended.
as amended. That was what I was getting ready to ask, or are these already in, so as amended with these amendments,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Are we gonna read this? Because I kinda wanna read it after we spent this much time on
I think you should,
it. I'm gonna read it.
yeah. You gonna
Mr.
make-
Chair,
Yes, there you go.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Resolution R 2024-31, Nelson County Board of Supervisors adoption of the Nelson 2042 Comprehensive Plan, whereas Section 15 to 2223 of the Code of Virginia, as amended, requires that localities prepare and recommend a comprehensive plan for the physical development of the territory within its jurisdiction and review that plan every 5 years. Whereas, consistent with the county's ongoing obligation to review its comprehensive plan, the Nelson County Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors review the comprehensive plan for Nelson County. And whereas the Nelson 2042 comprehensive plan update draws on community input from outreach efforts throughout, including a public survey, community workshops, and focus group meetings. And whereas the Nelson County Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors held a kickoff joint session on May 31st, 2022 to develop a draft comprehensive plan and met 6 times to draft the comprehensive plan. And whereas a public open house was held by the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors on August 29, 2023 to present the draft amendments to the county's comprehensive plan. And whereas the Planning Commission held a joint public hearing on January 31st, 2042 after notice in accordance with section 15.2-2204 of the Code of Virginia and heard citizen testimony regarding the proposed amendments to the comprehensive plan. And whereas pursuant to the Code of Virginia 15.2-2223, the Planning Commission finds that the proposed draft Nelson 2042 comprehensive plan will provide a coordinated, adjusted, and harmonious development of the territory, which will, in accordance with present and probable future needs and resources, best promote the health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, and general welfare of the inhabitants. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on this 9th day of April 2042, that the Nelson County Board of Supervisors, pursuant to the Code of Virginia 15.2-2226, does hereby approve the Nelson 2042 comprehensive plan. Be it further resolved that upon adoption by the Board of Supervisors, the Nelson 2042 comprehensive plan will supersede and replace in their entirety the previously adopted comprehensive plan of Nelson County, Virginia, adopted in 2002. Be it further resolved that the Board of Supervisors authorizes county staff to make non-substantive edits, including correction of punctuation, numbering, internal cross-references, citations to any statutes, and any related clerical type changes to the text and exhibits as necessary to ensure internal consistency of the newly adopted comprehensive plan elements, and add language as may be necessary for clarification of information and correct any factual errors. And be it further resolved that the Nelson Board of Supervisors authorizes county staff to include the attached authorized amendments to the draft comprehensive plan Nelson 2042 as a result of the January 31, 2024 Planning Commission public hearing and the March 2024 Board of Supervisors public hearing. That's my motion.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'll just note quickly on the 6th whereas, it was not a joint hearing. I did not catch that earlier.
Held a public, I amend my motion to remove the word joint from that whereas.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Amanda?
Mr. Rutherford,
Yes.
Mr. Harvey,
yes,
Dr. Liggin,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes. Thank you, and congratulations, and thank you.
Good job.
Congratulations to you as well, for now future decision-making should be better guided.
Yeah.
So
Well-
from here, what we do is we'll send this off to the Berkeley group, they'll make the amendments, and they will provide the diagnostic of zoning and subdivision ordinances to align with the comprehensive plan. We'll circulate that around and then bring that to you for review.
Great. Want to thank staff and definitely please outreach to the Berkeley group and thank them. Obviously, this is not a simple task. It's got a lot of community members who have passions about them, which is good, and they were very critical in part of orchestrating where we're at today.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for the hard work, you and Emily and everybody else.
Just one question. Will the planning commission get the first round of discussion on zoning and then bring proposals to the board?
So the board will need to decide if we want to continue to work with the Berkeley group, put out an RFP, or do it internally. So I believe we'll be looking for a board decision on that first.
So we will create our own process, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, much like this process, it'll be very unique to Nelson.
Very good.
So
Thank
zoning-
you.
Thank you.
So zoning next.
On to the next.
All right.
Wow. Did you ever think this day would come? I said, did you ever think this day would come?
I hope.
All right, next, moving on to other business as presented. Do we have anything else? That's it? Anybody have anything? All right, then, this is a continue. Right, so I will entertain a motion that we continue this meeting until April 11th at 4 PM for our budget work session. Do we have a motion?
Go, Ernie.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All those opposed? We are continued until Thursday at 4. Thank you all.